video tu baru saya akan pastikan. Video lepas kau cakap short video and dalam video short video and then
I have made to understand the multi-media team has been working over 3 weeks on making this website success. And henceforth is ongoing today. For all those present, this website is a main website. We have realized all the activities and the knowledge that has been forwarded by the meditation assistants themselves. And it has been a great thing. I congratulate them on behalf of Today is an annual birthday.
your mind is that
Launch the GACOPA site.
so video video akan play lepas semua orang dan video play dan yang orang tu nasib sudah video habis je kita buat live full video masuk ke sini video sudah di dalam yang baik situ baru lepas kat lepas tu sekarang letak soalan pertama
My sincere thanks to Mr.
Maksudnya
President of GACOPA,
sekarang macam ni masa ini kan dia akan produce di ada part punya MC ia akan produce
yes
Ladies and gentlemen, our conference will be held on 18th to 21st June 2023 at 12 a.m. Every assistant medical officer give their part.
Aku nak Facebook punya ni access Facebook. Tadi tak dapat. Tak ada masuk.
Respected graduation
set
which is well known for
Okey.
show your signs if you have some stress moments and
Dia dekat.
all promise
Kita ngecas. Ada kamera lain. Hello? Ya.
siapa tanya soalan ni
saya suruh dia masuk ke sini.
so dia dah masukkan lah
Saya dah masuk.
okay, so saya buat ini saya
Nanti tak yang Isjaya tak saya nak letak ni supaya nanti kalau orang buat update orang akan nampak soalan ni masuknya di tag.
saya tu kena download app
Dapat.
guna online
Ada boleh. Dia.
kalau ada questions kalau tak dapat answer signal me so I can give you the question
Saya kasih pun. Tak. Sekarang tinggal live dia mana? Baik. Sekarang tinggal live dia betul.
Dekat Facebook, dekat YouTube dah.
Okey. Ni tekan lama-lama tak kau? Lama pun. Sampai berjanda warna biru. Masuk. Di mana-mana yang boleh kan? Mana?
that is yes macam mana nak guna saya tu yes
Kau besar. Satu aja.
tak
Satu lagi kamera. Tak apa, ini kita tak ada hijab pun.
Please ensure your mobile phone is on silent or with the tree off. We have also visited to remain in the hall or
Aku tak masuk. Facebook masuk.
First and foremost, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Manu Planner and his devoted team for their hard work to build the right side of this conference. I have made to understand the multi-region team has been working for over 3 weeks on making this website a success, and henceforth is launching. For all those present, this website is a homemade website. We have utilized all the activities and the knowledge that has been put forward by the medical assistants themselves. And has been a great feat, and I should congratulate them on behalf of management. Today is a memorable day. As CDC officially launched the Gakopa Malaysia website, and with this initiative, it's the start of Gakopa Malaysia International Delegates.
Gakopa. Ubah dah. Kerja ubah.
Ha? Ya. Lebih senang tak kacau.
Bening je.
My sincere thanks to Mr. Austin O'Donnell, the President of the GACOPA Committee of White Indonesia Conference, and Mr. the organizer for such a conference.
Kerja lagi.
Ladies and gentlemen, the conference we have held on 18th to 21st June 2023 at Trade all every assistant and officers
Jadi,
will be part of every way it could make the conference successful. My dear friends, let's make this event fruitful and
Gakopa
memorable. With the respected dedication from all in the country of our lovely country, Malaysia, which is well known for our colorfulness and multicultural diversity. We will ensure your presence here becomes best moments and meaningful memory for you. To all promise that the third Gakopa conference will achieve its goal with team, harmonizing all officers and initiates towards health coverage. Then, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear comrades, I officially launch the official website of Gakopa Malaysia. Thank you.
Yang tadi. Tu yang macam
Story kerja ni.
Sebab aku nak boleh pakai.
After that, the GACOPA group will have a central handler meeting, which is on
Gakopa Malaysia
the
dan
GACOPA Malaysia website, official website for third international delegate and hybrid conference of GACOPA. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Manso and his working team for their hard work to build the website for this conference. I have made to understand the multi-region team has been working for over 3 weeks on making this website a success, and henceforth is launching today. For all those present, this website is a homemade website. We have utilized all the activities and the knowledge that has been provided by the medical assistants and that.
Mana yang awak frame ni?
I congratulate them.
semua.
Frame yang tadi yang terjadi juga.
Ini yang third one.
Launch GACOPA site again. It's the start of GACOPA Malaysia third international delegates. My sincere thanks to Mr. Austin Ododo, President of the GACOPA Committee, Point Malaysia as the such meaningful conference. Ladies and gentlemen, the conference will be held on 18th to 21st June 2023 at every aspect of every way they could make the conference successful. My dear fellows, let us make the event and memorable. With the respected delegation from abroad, I welcome you all to the country, Malaysia, which is well known for tolerance and multicultural diversity. We show your thanks here become thanks for moments and meaningful memory. To all we promise that the third GACOPA conference will achieve its goal along with its team, harmonizing political officers and shades towards maintaining universal health and breaks. Ni dah.
I shall launch official website for GACOPA. Thank you.
Oh, itu yang ni.
Ini nak jet promo.
Kita dengar. Dia tadi clear tadi.
Aku nak mikir ni. Yang tadi ni, kita dia.
Ah,
launching of Gakopa Malaysia, the official website for third international delegates and executive conference of Gakopa. First and foremost, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Manso and his devoted team
Saya sudah.
for their hard work to build my website
Sana.
of this conference. I have been made to understand the multimedia team has been working for over 3 weeks on making website a success and henceforth is launching today. For all those present, this website is a homemade website. We have utilized all the abilities and the knowledge that has been acquired by the various assistants and
Risau kita
and
no.
it has been a great feat, and I should congratulate them on behalf of many
Today is a memorable day,
Kila ni aku nak MC
as it is the day that officially launched Gakopa Malaysia site, and with this initiative, it's the start of Gakopa Malaysia International Delegates and Scientific Conference. My sincere thanks to Mr. Austin, President of the Gakopa Committee, for the share of the conference and trusting us to be organizing Ladies and gentlemen, the conference that we held on 21st June.
Our distinguished guests, Gakopa Central Committee, speaker and expert, all delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening and a very warm welcome to all delegates of Gakopa, Earth International Delegate and Scientific Conference 2023 with the team and 19 clinical officers and representatives who are attending universal health coverage. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to also welcome all of you to Malaysia, truly Asia. Before that, I am Muhammad Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, almost all of us, and especially the local delegate, they are aware of the So, to highlight us on this topic, let us welcome Mr. Responsibility, Gakopa Director, which is a clinical officer represented by the Indian Clinical Officer Council, Secretary President. He is a community Gakopa and the government organizing director of the organization. He is also the chairman of the Clinical Officer in Gakopa and he is involved in the organization in many ways. He organized events and he is the of the Gakopa mission. Chris is also a clinical coordinator and he joined the on the journey through the history of Gakopa. About the organization early days, the challenge faced and the success is achieved. To enlighten us with the topic historical journey of Gakopa, please welcome the principal on stage.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. You try.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. We want to thank God or thank Allah for the opportunity to be here today. Just as have been said, my name is Chris Onditi. I am the organizing director, GACOPA, and I'm a clinical officer, an equivalent of a medical assistant or AMO from your end, right? Yeah, so my background has been said. That is my picture. This is myself. So welcome. I want to take you through the journey of Gakopa. And just as they have said, I am the organizing secretary. And as he aptly put it, we try to organize and ensure that Gakopa works. Now, from the name Gakopa, it's an acronym. The G itself means global, A means association, C means clinical, O for officer, P for physician, A for associates. So the name comes from two names, especially professional names, the clinical officer and physician associates. So the full name is GACOPA because we decided to come up with a global association of that cadre. Unfortunately, it might have not carried all the names in that cadre, but at that particular point, that is what we were able to do. And it is an open book moving forward because we want to make it better and a global association. Our journey to Gakopa started about 10 years ago. Myself, or my president and myself, Mr. Austin Odur and myself, we love football. We come from Africa, so we love African football and even international football. I'm a fan of Arsenal, by the way, but I also love African football. So we used to go out in African countries to watch football. And so in Africa, there is the southern part, the northern part, the eastern, and the central part of Africa. We come from the eastern part of Africa. And most of the time, there were good football in the southern part of Africa. So Austin used to go to the southern part of Africa, and we used to go by road. Yeah, and myself equally. Both of us have trained, our background of training is clinical medicine back in Africa, in Kenya to be specific. So we started our training at the level of diploma in clinical medicine. So after we qualified with diploma in clinical medicine, we did our internship for 1 year as usual. And then now our love of football and love of our professionalism could take us out of our country. Now, when we would go out of the country, as usual, you'll want to associate with guys of the same profession, right? You'd go for football, but you'd want to meet assistant medical officer, right? Or a clinical officer and share a few things. So when we used to go to these places, we never got to meet people that were of the same name. Though at our discussion, we would realize we train on the same thing and we basically do the same thing. But unlike nurses and doctors, they have the same name all over the world. They have the same curriculum, and they speak specifically the same thing. So we realized there was a gap. It hit me more when I went to South Africa and Botswana, and I looked for a job for over 1 year as a clinical officer, and no one knew who a clinical officer was. And at that time, I had trained and qualified as a clinical officer, which of course in Malaysia, you shall have trained as assistant medical officer, right? And in other parts of the world, someone might have trained as a physician associate or physician assistant or all those other names that belong to our cadre. So this journey started at that point where I got frustrated. In our journey, we interacted with most people that we used to interact with were football lovers. So we got to connect with them, and we tried to find people that looked like us in those countries. So when I got back after getting frustrated in South Africa and Botswana for about a year or so, I came back to our current president, who was my friend then, Mr. Austin Oduor, and we thought that what could we do so that we could make things different, so that things could be better in the world of clinical medicine, or in the world of AMO, or in the world of physician assistants that we realized were all over the world but could not reach each other. So our football network turned into clinical officers, physician assistants, and AMO networking. So after a few years, we decided to reach out to one of the sports guys who was also assistant minister of Liberia through our president, Mr. Austin. He asked him, because he was a football lover, he asked him if he could get any of a clinical officer in their country. Now, luckily enough, the assistant sports minister connected Mr. Austin with the assistant health minister in Liberia. Now, the assistant health minister in Liberia gave Mr. Austin a number to one of the presidents of Liberians physician assistants. And that's where the cut started. So we interacted with one guy called Mr. Theophilus Ampai. He managed to pull for us the South African team together. That found when he had interacted with Ghana about the same thing. So we came back to East Africa, myself and Austin, and we decided to interact in the Eastern African region. So the Ghanaian team in Africa, the southern part of Africa, and the eastern team from eastern part of Kenya tried to bring up together. So after some time, we tried to make an association for Africa. By then, we decided to call it Africa Association for Clinical Officers and Physician Associates. It improved rapidly. After a short time, we thought Africa might not where we only belong. We could also be belonging beyond Africa. So we started to open up. We tried to register it in Kenya. By then, we were not able to register that association. So we tried to change the name to an International African Clinical Officers, International Association for Clinical Officers and Physician Assistants. That again gave us hectic time, because at the registrars, we found out that it is very difficult to register an organization called International Association. So then we sat again and something came up. So we came up with Global Association for Clinical Officers and Physician Assistants. And that's where now we got the name GACOPA. So the journey has been long, just has been, as I've said before. We got to network. Basically, our network started in Africa, as we said. And when we tried to register ourselves in Kenya, and that didn't work, we decided to try it in the southern part of Africa. And in 2018, in December of 2018, we registered GACOPA in Ghana. And that was the first time we ever registered such kind of an association. So our registration was in Ghana in 2018, and immediately after our registration, we decided to embark on a global image. And so we went back to our drawing board. Where would we get more people? Mr. Austin, who is our president, is very proactive. I praise him a lot. Through networking and Facebook, he kept on looking for people. And he got a number of people from the US and even from Malaysia through Facebook. Yeah, so here in Malaysia, he managed to connect to one of our anesthetists. He was trying to remember the name when we were having a discussion. He couldn't remember it. But the anesthetist connected him to the then president of Mama. So he said, let me consult him first. And then once he consulted him and he agreed, then Mr. Austin got the president, the number of president of our association here in Malaysia. Now that found when we had registered our global association in Ghana in 2018, and in 2019, in April, we went for our first international conference in Ghana. During our first international conference in Ghana, that is the time we decided to have our first elections also. It was not having an international outfit by then because we were majorly Africans, but at least we tried to balance the Africa aspect of it. We have over 20 members that we called the founding members by then, that later translated some of them into the officials of GACOPA during our first international conference. So during our first international conference, we decided to have these positions at GACOPA. We had decided to have the position of the president, who currently is with us here. We decided to have the first deputy president, second deputy president, and third deputy president. We were trying to enlarge it so that we could accommodate more countries and many people. So another position that we had was the Secretary General. We had first Secretary General, first Deputy Secretary General, and second Deputy Secretary General. We also decided to have an organizing director, who is myself, and then we had another position for Deputy Organizing Director. Other positions that we had were Director Communication. Our Director Communications is not present here, but she comes from Uganda. We also had a chance for Deputy Director Communication. We also have a structure for Director Finance and one Deputy Director Finance. We also have a structure for Gender Secretary, and we also had a chance for Deputy Gender Secretary. We have also Director at Large. Director at Large, we have the Asian region, the Oceania, and Africa region. So after our first international conference in Ghana, our next international conference was in Rwanda. And that now found when our president had communication with Mama President. And we were blessed that they came to Rwanda. And after them coming to Rwanda, we were privileged to have a discussion that landed us here today. So our second international conference in Rwanda was a success, and during that conference, we managed to enlarge our office, the office of Gakopa. And that is where then we decided to have Director Africa at Large, who is represented by one called Ochogia. We decided to have Director at Large Asia, who is Mr. Mustafa. We also decided to have Director at Large Oceania, Madam Shannon. And also we decided to have a committee, the chairman of our global association, who was our initial patron, Mr. Charles Aban. We also decided to have a secretary of that HOCA, Mr. Zulhami. And we also decided to have a honorary board member, one of us from the USA, Lindsay. So after that conference, we decided to make a bit of a global outlook from the European, from the Asian, from Africa, so that we end up with a global image. Now, as it stands today, this is therefore our third conference that was meant to happen in 2021 after the 2020 conference in Rwanda. But because of Corona and the restrictions that were put, it landed us in 2023. And I think our dream has come through. Our dream has come true. We are here in Malaysia in 2023.
That is our journey so far. I don't want to speak beyond that. And we are going to learn a lot about Gakopa. Our main and biggest concern as a country is harmonization. And the harmonization is about our name. And the second thing about the harmonization is about our training, or to be specific, our curriculum, so that we can interact globally, freely, with the boldness and energy that the doctors and the nurses. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. We can remain on stage. Thank you to Mr. Chris for letting us of this topic. Now, I would like to invite Prof. Dr. Ismail Muhammad Saibul, Veteran Malaysia Association of Medical Assistants, to present the topic presentation to Mr. Chris Committee. Please welcome.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our following agenda is educational forum with the topic Expectation of Tomorrow Generation by Mr. Wong Sirion, Assistant Medical Officer, Certificate Public Health Clinic Sarawak, Malaysia. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Wong Sirion. Please welcome. emphasizement of our conference education forum. The title for today's forum is Expectation for Tomorrow's Generation. It is a topic of great significance as we discuss the crucial role this healthcare professionals play in shaping the future of healthcare for tomorrow's generation. Now, as we shift our focus to the engaging discussion that lie ahead, it is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed moderator, Assistant Medical Officer, Mr. Wong Si Leong, with his vast knowledge and experience. He will guide us through the forum. I would like to invite Mr. Wong Si Leong to be on the stage, please. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Don't worry, Mr. Wong Si Leong, you will be alone on the stage, as we have panels of distinguished experts who will bring their unique perspective to the table. Please join me in welcoming our panelists. Our first panelist is Mr. Gakopa from the National University of Malaysia. Welcome, Mr. Gakopa. Next up, we have Ms. Amanda Senra from Operating Stimulation. Welcome, Ms. Amanda. Lastly, we have Mr. John Oliver, representing Treatment Fashion Film. Welcome, Mr. John. Together, our moderator and panelists will engage in thought-provoking discussions, guiding us towards innovative solutions that will shape the future of healthcare. Now, to set the stage for our insightful discussion, let us enter a short video presentation from our marketing. Thank you, Mr. DJ. Without further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Wong Si Leong to take the stage and guide us through our enlightening discussions. Please, Mr. Wong Si Leong.
Okay. Alright, so I would like to take this time to welcome all of you, those who are presentation. Can you give me a word of hand, those who are presentation? Yes! Welcome all of you. I see someone I know over there. Alright, welcome all of you. Alright. Okay, so yeah. I would like to welcome you to Malaysia. I believe the weather here is a bit hot for all of you, but I think you got your rest enough because the weather today is so cold. To welcome you come over to Malaysia. Alright? So some housekeeping rules for us throughout the whole forum sessions. First of all is kindly silent your phone. If you haven't not silent your phone yet. Okay? And then certainly there will be this Slido, okay? The Slido, okay? So there will be this Slido. You can key in using your phone, okay? Go to your website, any Internet Explorer in your phone, then just key SLI.PO Slido, and then key the code over here, 1389682. Once you key the code, then you will entering a page where we can monitor every questions inside, okay? So if you you will see there will be one patient over there. Is there one handsome? Is there one handsome? Yes. All right. Okay, so you will see over there is already a patient over there. So anyone you can pause patient inside. Don't worry, you will never be here on that. Okay, and then you can actually go inside. Anyone in this room, you actually can go inside there and monitor the patients. Means you can click live. You can give a time up over the top right of the patients if you like the patient. Then throughout the sections during our Q&A section time, I will monitor here as well. If there's one patient that we will talk on slide one, okay, then I will ask the patients to our panelists, several panelists here, provided it must be related to our team, right? Okay, provided it must be related. Don't ask me whether they are going to see or not. Okay, so I won't be answering or won't be asking the patient to our panelists over here. Alright, so next over. Okay, next over will be committee will choose the related patients only from every patient that is submitted. Alright. So can we have the slides back to the all the panelists space? I think alright. Thanks. I think it's very oh there's testing over here. I think it's very rare all of us get to on stage. So I think one thing that I want to do as a younger generation, I think we all like to do that. That's selfie. Okay, alright. Okay, so I will proceed with I think all of us are curious why all this fellow, especially the young guy over there, are very handsome as well, okay? And why the people are quite pretty as well. I think we will all curious what they are. So my first question to all the panelists will be, can you briefly introduce yourself to us? Okay, then where are you from? What is the courses that you are undertaking? What is your involvement as a young generation or what is about you?
Thank you very much, all. So good day, everyone. Pleasure to be here, sitting in front of such a esteemed audience. My name is Gakopa, or better known as Giri. I'm from the National Ministry of Malaysia. Currently, I'm doing my bachelor's degree in Science of Emergency Medicine in my final year. A little bit about my academic journey. I started back in 2011, where I took my diploma in medical assistant. And after that, I pursued my advanced diploma for a year. And now, currently, I'm here doing my bachelor's degree. And if everything goes well, I'll be completing by the end of this year. And interesting fact about me, I'm also a national fan. Something similar to a managing director. Maybe we could go to watch games in the future. And I'm happy to be here to share insights on this topic. Looking forward to have a great time. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amanda Sandra Lestari. I'm from Sabah, the eastern part of Malaysia. Okay, so I have just completed my bachelor degree in medical and health science under Open University Malaysia. And I was the resident student of a fair amount of my batch during when I was a student. And as now I'm with Ministry of Health, working as assistant medical officer, where I have received my credential and privilege in pre and postnatal ultrasound scans, where that one is my major currently now. And one interesting fact about me is, before I was work in a variety of healthcare settings, including hospitals, clinics, and community health centers. They may work alongside doctors and other healthcare professionals to provide medical care to patients, and they may be responsible for tasks such as taking patient history, conducting physical exam, administering medications, and providing basic medical treatments. There are also many career pathways available for assistant medical officer. Some make specialists in a particular area of healthcare, such as emergency medicines, orthopedics, pediatrics, wound care, genetics, and many more. For example, for myself, I have specialized job scope under obstetric and gynecology, which is there are two facilities in Peninsula Malaysia, which is our General Hospital Kuala Lumpur and Hospital Putrajaya. And others may choose to pursue further education and training to become advanced practitioner, which involve additional coursework and clinical experience. I think in Malaysia, assistant medical officer also have the opportunity to take on leadership role within healthcare organizations, such as serving as department heads, managing clinics or healthcare facilities. And additionally, some assistant medical officer choose to pursue career in healthcare administrations, research, and even higher education such as in master or PhD.
Alright, yeah, I think I find out a bit cool. You guys feel cool? Anyone tell me, can you give me a wave of okay? No? Alright, okay. Alright, so I think a bit stage fright I can sense that from our way of it. It's like we keep them to train, okay? Okay, so yeah, I think we can get a rough idea of these two professions, especially in Germany and also in our Malaysia over here. But definitely we hope in future, in the next GACOPA, even more, that we hope to have more variety of countries, like Malaysia is still a different country, or being officer of a different country to understand. Right, so yeah, my next question will be, what is your point of view regarding your current education and training to become a PA or NO that you undergo? That's like what our president has already mentioned about the education and training is academic important. Yeah, anyone?
So just as what the education is being implemented. So we start as early as diploma. As mentioned earlier, it's a 2-year diploma program offered sort out like a correct curriculum. So every unit has its own curriculum and like teaching their own way of being a physician assistant. So therefore our foundation college union or university union now rolling out to get like test at the end or like one specific training that we can say like all physician assistants at the same
see or even A or to stay up to date on the latest medical advances?
I think as a healthcare professional, it is important for us to stay up to date on the latest medical advances in order to provide the best possible care of patients. So, in my point of view, there are few ways to stay up to date on the latest medical advances. For example, by participating in conference and workshops like how are we doing now. For me, this is a great way for us to stay informed about the latest medical advances around the world. Also, this type of events bring together healthcare professionals from around the world to share their knowledge, experience, and expertise. Attending conference and workshops can provide assistant medical officers or physician assistant with the opportunity to learn about the latest research and developments in their field as well as network with other healthcare professionals. By collaborating with our colleagues like doctors, nurses, or even our vendors, like by joining the CNE, the CNE is like coordination medical delegations. This can help us as assistant medical officers or physician assistants to stay up to date on the latest medical advances by sharing knowledge and experiences with other healthcare professionals. I think AO can learn about new treatments and new techniques as well. Other than that, by participating in research is another great way for assistant medical officer to be up to date on the latest medical advances because by participating with research, this can contribute to the development with new treatments and new techniques as well as gain first-hand experience with the latest medical advances. And lastly, for me, and I think one of the most important things is we have to stay aware and alert about the regulation changes because usually, as we all know, healthcare policies and regulations are constantly changing. And it is important for us as a NO, PA, or CO to stay informed about these changes because by staying up to date on the regulation changes, we can ensure that we are providing care that meets the latest standards, SOP, and guidelines.
Yeah, just something to add to what Amanda said just now. I think she touched on every aspect of how to stay up to date regarding this medical advancement. So one of it that caught my eye was the professional networking, yeah, something that we are doing now. For example, conferences like what we are attending now, or medical meetings, seminars, workshops. So not by listening to lectures, not only by listening to lectures, by getting to know people. So I would say we should invest more in our social capital, get to know more people, and especially people from similar profession like us, not only locally, internationally, to know how they get things done in their country, and we can share how we do it here. So one of it is professional networking. It would prove to be something vital for our future. And another thing is social media. Yeah, social media. Social media is not only for entertainment. Currently, it's infotainment tool, I think. Yeah. So social media, we have a lot of online medical communities, so we can follow them, stay updated, but we have to make sure we choose the right ones, reliable ones, reputable organizations, public figures to make sure the source is reliable. Yeah, they will keep us updated by posting their latest procedures and things like that. So I think in this era, professional networking and social media would prove to be important to maintain our understanding on medical advancements.
I think so too. That medical blogs or like info blogs are a really good thing to see new medical advances, and as well, it would be like really nice if like even GACOPA has that, and that we can see like specific information for physician assistants, like new regulations or how we can adapt internationally or work together internationally, and even like new papers which about like the workspace or the job scope of physician assistants, like really interesting, and I think we really can support that.
Yeah, I think because of this pandemic, yeah, we are more exposed to the social media or these internet resources. So I think, yeah, one of it is social media.
Even we all are participants of like one of those problem-based learning programs on the what's it called IFB.
Yeah,
exactly. That was amazing. So that's where like we all met together and like participated, and even for like it was there we have the opportunity as students to know more about like healthcare in different countries and other countries, and also like how to treat sicknesses in different countries, and as well knowledge more sicknesses we even don't have. Like example, in Germany, some of those tropical diseases are not common in our zone. So I only noticed and learned about them over the program-based learning program.
Yeah. All right. So, I just have one curious question. Does that mean you don't know about FX for this?
So I noticed, I know about it. So I got into a program-based learning program, but so that physician assistants are like quite new, not quite new. So we exist for 20 years in Germany, but there are not a lot of them, and also like our education system is building up. So we get notified by it, but it's more like we are now concentrated, or a lot concentrated on ourselves, and now getting out. Not yeah, exactly today. Like start to networking or to start more networking internationally and not only European centered. So yeah, start more working with that, and as well like probably one support that.
All right, sounds great. Okay. Yeah, I think with that, we get to know about some ideas of tomorrow generations, what the young generations nowadays they are actually looking forward, and how they actually get update themselves through social media, through internet itself, how we have to adapt about the medical advances. Okay, so I think I would like to open this time for Q&A sections. Okay, so the first half of the Q&A sections. All right, so let me move into the slide two. I think this is questions that has 17 likes now. Okay, I think 24 likes is very answer. Okay, means there's 24 more people here agree that they have one answer right. Okay, so okay, I skip that question. So I think the follow up question will be 17 like for that one. Sounds interesting, this one. And it's also related to our team. It's asked by Philip Reza. The question sounds like this: what groundbreaking innovations or discoveries are expected to shape our future in the next decades? Yeah, I think the questions are what groundbreaking innovations or discoveries are expected to shape our future in the next decades? Yeah.
I think there are a few like all the technological advances we are currently proceeding, and like also like the international communities getting more together while COVID-19. So we have more international research groups, and those are a lot more supported as well. And I think, yeah, even like those events are probably a good thing to provide us. And as well, since physician assistants can be a big role in like technical advances, because we can specialize or have time to specialize, where doctors have to be more knowledgeable in general, or like assistant doctors who are learning can provide like specific technical tools, especially for wound management or specialties like this. So they can do with the learner plan.
Thanks, I think Jay has something to add on this one. Yeah.
Yes, speak to that question. So, specifically, groundbreaking innovations, I would say, telemedicine. So, maybe in future, we could extend our role in telemedicine, and we could even work from home. No need to physically be there in hospital. We could manage patients from home, and could maybe reduce a bit of our workload. And in telemedicine, they already started researches and all the studies about telemedicine. So yeah, that's number one.
Mana yang ni?
I hope that answers your question.
Tak ni, tak orang jalan.
Alright, so yeah, time is there. I think we will get another question. Let's see. What is the next? The next small slide. Alright. Okay, the next small slide inside here.
Aku masak.
Tonight got supper. Oh, you will ask later. Alright, we are going to have supper later. In Mama. Alright. So, yeah, next will be what are the expectations of tomorrow in relation to the role of AI in the field of medicines, especially in paramedic.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Nak macam kalau tak boleh nak ni.
Yeah, speaking about AI technology, artificial intelligence will be taking over soon, especially in our medical field. So I see AI play an important role, a significant one
In medical field in managing patients. So one of it could be in our pre-hospital care services. We could apply AI in diagnosing patients. Maybe we could just scan through patients and diagnose, and it will be easier for us to manage patients where we don't need a physical doctor to be there. Maybe we could get the diagnosis by AI, and we could manage it, AMOs could manage it to deliver all the first aids, things like that. That's in pre-hospital care services. In hospital setting, I think it will be even more expensive, where there will be new equipment, new things developing to help us in our daily costs, what we do in hospitals, or maybe things like suturing machines, where you can just use the wound under the machine and you get sutured within minutes, things like that. Something to look forward into. It's interesting. Yeah, AI is something interesting.
Yeah. I think if that answers the questions. Okay. So yeah. Before I move forward to the second question, I think there is one question that asked by like be a decision to our
can we be the decision maker in patient's care plan? Yeah, I think these questions over here, you can ask anyone that is sitting in front of here. Okay, I think some of them can answer you, but not the one that's sitting here. Then I think I'll proceed with the next second question. Then after that, we are going to have a second Q&A session. So don't worry, your questions will be answered. So you can run the questions, do the questions coming in. So any questions that are live and related to this scheme, then you can click the line over there, and then they will come out on top later. Alright. So point of view, your personal point of view, what best to prepare yourself for the future in terms of healthcare in order to be competent and highly skilled enough in the future? Yeah, anyone?
So, talking about challenges, of course, in future, we as AMOs will struggle with the rapid advancement of technology. Things like, as I mentioned earlier, AI, robotics, telemedicine coming to play. So I think we might struggle to cope with that rapid advancement of technology. So in order to do that, we need to be well educated, okay, to upgrade ourselves with the extra skills. But one thing for sure, I think AI can take over from the skills, our soft skills, in these situations, to make sure they see the technology and things like that. So AI can be part of your soft skills. And so we should develop more on the soft skills, for example, language skills.
Chinese is the second most spoken language on the planet, so it will be a good investment to learn Chinese. And also IT skills, okay, information technology. So we might, it will be easier for us to face this technology if we have extra skills on IT. And another challenge I would say is patients demand. Patients demand will increase. Patients will be more well informed about their health conditions even before coming to us. So they'll be coming to us because now they could read everything about their condition on the internet, and they would expect us to deliver the same exact treatment that they Google. So that would prove a challenge for us in the future. Apart from challenges like limited resources, time constraints, I think another challenge is to make sure to convince them to get themselves treated. So this will be top challenges in the future. Ways to overcome it is, like I mentioned earlier, education. Education is the key. We have to continuously upgrade ourselves. Perhaps our board of AMOs, they introduce our AMOs to a plan known as a profession development plan, which consists of 6 elements in it. 2 of it is something related to our conference tonight, and one of it is regarding your development of your education and skills, and the second one is regarding international collaboration. So by 2030, we are looking forward to have 75% of our AMOs to hold the degree. That's something promising, and all of us should look forward into. And also another field that we are moving forward to is MOTEX. MOTEX is known as Assistant Medical Officers Technical Expert, MOTEX. So basically what MOTEX means is in future we'll have our very own technical experts among our AMOs. For example, if you are someone who will have the credentials to perform wound care, diabetic care, you'll be known as technical expert in wound care, in diabetic care, and other fields like EMS, nephrology, orthopedics, everything. We'll have our very own technical experts. And the reason is for us to refer to them in case of, there will be a referring point. So in case we need to refer to them, we'll have someone to refer to. We don't need to, always refer to other professions. For example, we need to have an orthopedic conference, or we can refer to the technical experts in orthopedics and manage the conference and things like that. So that is how we are moving forward. In this country, it sounds promising and exciting, and we as the younger generation are excited, and we are grateful for that. Thank you.
But is this the qualification after your
background, like basic degree, or is it like a specialization?
So MOTAX is you are considered an MOTAX after your advanced diploma. So after your specialization in a particular field, you are considered as an MOTAX. So advanced diploma onwards, degree, master's, PhD, you are already an expert. And so those who don't have advanced diploma, you are known as generalist. I mean, a PA, I mean, an AMO who practice in general things, you know. Yeah, you are not a specialized one. So, yeah, that's something new to us.
I think that's really interesting for us in Germany because we are like in the beginning stages of integrating physician assistants in our healthcare system, like thinking about how to qualify physician assistants into like different parts of our healthcare system. So yeah, that's like probably a good way to do that.
Yeah, you can bring this idea over there to Germany.
Yeah,
help with experience.
Look at how we could integrate this in the German education system. Probably it's more like basic. So we are like specializing afterwards on our own. So we're like doing courses and they're not, but it's not like we have like one specific topic where we're like specializing.
So you can invite Jay over to Germany in future. Talk about that.
I would love to visit Germany.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay. So, yeah. I see you holding mic. You have anything?
No.
You're holding. Okay. I think with that, get to know roughly an idea regarding what's happening in Malaysia over here. Then I just wonder, what about you over there in Germany? What is the challenges, bigger challenges over there in Germany as well? And also, when you best prepare yourself for the future?
So you know, it's like one of the biggest challenges for us is demographic change. So our generation, our population is getting older and older. So the percentage of our population is getting older and older. So we have like less people who can provide care and not more patients who need care. And I think as well, like the physician assistant is, or like MA or MOA is a good way to get more professionals into the system, and also like it's a way to have somebody who's able to integrate interdisciplinary teams to provide better care for elderly people, as well as ensure good health care in like remote areas. And for myself, it's like education, getting education, as well as networking to part of our organizations. The German Association of Physician Assistants, like took active part on it. And like try to help with changing our healthcare system to a better one.
Yeah, you spoke about aging population just now. I think it's a global problem. So in Malaysia, we are working on aging population. We are expected to have 10% of older people in 2030. So we would new challenges might arise because of that. For example, we need to spend more on the healthcare system, on medicine, and things like that. So I think something we should really work into is the aging population regarding the demographic shift in a particular area.
Yeah.
For me, the best way to prepare ourselves to be more competent and skillful persons in the future is simply by start with our attitude, like being humble and teachable, because being humble and teachable is how we can grow and how we can accept and keep on learning new things.
be more excited and interested to learn and to be the first hand who will bring new updated informations or new techniques in our countries to be used in the healthcare system. Yes.
Wow, something out of my mind. Okay, yeah, attitude. So yeah, attitude is very much important. To stay humble and teachable. Okay, something new. Yeah, so I think that really play a very important part in terms of our professions. Because I believe as we go from age to age, as we grow older in our professions, in terms of our ages, I believe our ego also grow. And up to a point that I think we are quite reluctant to listen to those who are younger than us, those who are freshies, they just graduated and just came out. Who are you to talk to me, right? Okay, who are you to tell me what to do, right? I'm more senior than you. Okay, so I think yeah, to stay humble and teachable, I think that will be a criteria in terms of our attitude to learn and to be someone that is prepare ourselves to be more competent and highly skilled in the future. So I believe the technology is coming in. I believe the things is keep on changing in terms of our workplace, in terms of our environment, everything. So yeah, I think as someone new to the professions, okay, how do we see the role of our profession will evolve in the future, and how to actually harmonize diverse profession in various countries to become one profession that is generalist.
In my opinion, the role of assistant medical officers or physician assistant or CCO is likely to evolve in the future as healthcare system and technology continue to advance. As a younger generations, we can expect to see AMO is taking on new responsibilities and play a more integral role in healthcare delivery. One potential growth for AMOs is in the use of technologies as healthcare become increasingly digital. Assistant medical officer may be called upon to use new technologies such as electronic health records, telemedicine, like how Jay mentioned just now, remote monitoring system, and for example, in Sarawak right now, they are doing trainings in drones piloting, where this can help the rural area patients to get help more faster and to get a service more faster. And they may also be involved in the development and implementations of new technologies and improving patient care and outcomes. Another area where we can see changes in the role of assistant medical officer is in the provisions of primary care. With an aging populations and growing demand for healthcare services, there is a need for more primary care providers. So, assistant medical officers with their training in basic medical care, I think could play a larger role in providing primary care services, particularly in rural area or unreserved area where there may be a shortage of doctors. And as a healthcare system become more globalized, it is important to harmonize diverse professions from various countries into one profession that has similarities in aspect of role, training, and regulations. This can be achieved through international collaborations and standardizations efforts. One way to harmonize professions is through establishment of international standard for education and training. I think this could involve the development of common curriculum and training programs that are recognized across the border. Um, by establishing these standards, it will be easier for healthcare professionals to work in different countries and for patients as well to receive consistent care regardless of where they are located. What about you, Jin?
I don't think this is regulating, Amanda. Yeah, I think our profession might evolve in the future. That's for sure. We would be more involved in educating patients. So currently we are more in treating and managing patients. So maybe in the future we would play a significant role in educating the patients. So we would shift from being a more health-centric profession to a community-centric profession, more like a community-based profession. So we might get ourselves involved in programs, campaigns, like I said earlier, a more significant role in special clinics, quit smoking clinics, HIV clinics, and yeah, that's where we are moving to. In fact, now we are already moving towards that in Malaysia. If you look at our AMOs in public healthcare sector, they are more involved in community programs and also in pre-hospital care services. We have already started to bring the emergency services to the patient, to the community. So we basically bring the treatment to their houses, we treat them, and then stabilize them, bring them to the hospital. So yeah, that's my vision for our AMOs for the future.
Software ya, kena tukar sikit software dia.
So you're saying like you, physician assistant provide educations for like public health purposes? Yeah, education. Education is not basically teaching them directly, but you organize more engaging programs. So let them come to us and get to know more about us, what we are doing, and what's the current state of the healthcare in this country. Make them realize what's going on, what's the real situation, so that we could prevent things from happening. It's more of a preventive measure. That's something that AMOs do. We don't only cure patients, we do preventive measure, rehabilitative works, and also promotive works. Works. We promote our profession, promote our healthcare, and yeah, we should be more active in that sector, in that side.
And that's really interesting because, like how I said, Germany is like starting that physician assistants are getting more into the patient sector, so like meeting more patients at home, more patients who are well enough to not to be to have to go to the clinic. And I think that there's this educational aspect is really important for us as physician assistants, that we are teaching our patients about their diseases and have like so reach more awareness of sicknesses in the general public.
Siapa yang nak salah? Suruh pergi YouTube. Tak ada lah.
Alright. So there will be some to find that how we can see our patients evolve in the future. So I think with the theme of harmonizing and also our previous mentioned about President Gakopa mentioned about the harmonizing part is very crucial. So my question would be how to harmonize diverse professions from various countries. Okay. Various countries come to one profession that has similarities in aspect of role, training, and regulation.
So to harmonize this profession, to make it into one profession,
Kau nak? Cuba rekod.
I hope the reason of And secondly, with Malaysia and Kenya, so I think a lot of programs are really based on their country and not globally connected. And I think we can help them to connect globally as well. So it's getting easier for them to integrate in their healthcare system. Yeah, that's why we have IFAX as well. So one of the aim of IFAX is to connect everyone, all personal skills exchange, education program, things like that. Yeah. Get to know more about each other. Like you say, there's some tropical diseases. You might, it's something new to you, but maybe in another country where we deal with it on a daily basis, so we could exchange views on how to manage something like that.
Yeah, exactly. We're only learning about them and we treat them and the daily clinical experience we have. And on the other side, we have a lot of socially protected diseases like diabetes and gluten intolerance, as an example. So we can provide you information over it, and you guys can provide us information over it, so we have a good exchange of knowledge to provide more information to everyone.
Since Jaya Khan is mentioning a lot of aspects as well, and I see inside the questions, the question asking about, can you tell us more about IFAX? So, can you tell us more about what is this IFAX?
Yeah, I think I told a little bit about what IFAX is. Yeah, I was introduced to IFAX 2 years back when I first joined this bachelor's degree. And previously, the regional director for Asia Pacific is Mr. Wong himself. And that's how I got to know about IFAX. And the thing that I think is helping me as a student is this meeting with people around the world, with teaching associates around the world. I mean, to talk to them, even in different time zones. Yeah, but still we manage to find time to talk together, to engage together, had a few events together. And even if there's nothing, we might meet every week just to discuss what's going on, just to know how people are doing and like that. So our future for IFAX is, so we can get know more about IFAX. We already have our website, ifax.org. You can check it now. So there are more about the positions in the IFAX website. Our future vision for IFAX is student exchange program, like Ian said earlier. So but we are still in the early stages. There are a lot more work to do. So we are looking to exchange our students and study over there and with foreign students to come over here and things like that. Yeah, I do get some messages regarding IFAX how to be a associate over there. But currently, I think there's no clear pathway how to be good with our current qualification in Malaysia. So very soon we'll sort it out. We have a guideline or maybe a very pathway on how we could expand ourselves internationally, how we can be good globally with our current qualification in Malaysia. Maybe we will have meetings with our superiors in all of IAMOs to make more how we can something like that.
Alright, so I hope with that there's a bit clearer picture about what is IFAX. So just for your information, IFAX is really new like what our GACOPA mentioned to us. IFAX is just been born during COVID time, during 2020 time, the year of 2020. And I'm so happy that I can join the international GACOPA conference this year because in this whole run now, we have a few who are actually IFAX educator
think in the future that the PA, CO, or CA, or MO might unite and create a board internationally, just like the nurse does to increase job opportunities. I think that actually answers your question. Even in students level, we already have board now, okay, and we are moving in that direction also. And also like Jaya also mentioned to us, that's why we are here having this international Gakopa conference. Because also I believe this is the best opportunity for you to join me here and be part of this Gakopa as well. Okay, so yeah, I think this is the point of certain Q&A sessions. I suppose one try for you to show your best asking questions. When you feel that too much less prep, there will be problems as well. So if you have any live questions, then you can ask inside the live room. And one person will and you feel the mic to ask the question. Definitely raise your hand, then the mic will go to you. Alright. So let me see inside the Q&A slide. Okay. Yeah, I see the second countdown point will be right. Is there any possibility that through Gakopa can we enhance where our MOPA can be come up with plans in collaboration our degree so that it can be recognized? Anyone want to answer this?
Is it more like to educators to answer?
Yeah, I think this is more like for educators to answer. If you're asking, if your question is there any possibility, I think
Yeah, there's one question here that we want to talk. I want to find it important to talk. What are the ethical considerations that PA or NA will need to be aware of in the future? Yeah, this is the question specifically for you. I hope Mr. J can answer this. Okay, all the questions from
pakai mic ni, tak pakai mic tu.
so the question is from where's the question?
Oh, mampus ni, punya mampus.
So, yeah, I think the question sounds like this. What are the ethical considerations that PA or CO or CAMO will need to be aware of in the future?
Not only in future, ethical considerations is something when technology take over whatever we do, so the ethical use of technology to be maintained. For example, the patient's privacy and also the data security. So how we are going to be maintaining, how we are going to preserve the data so that
it won't be misused by other IT professionals or known as hackers, okay? Because that will be something to consider in the future if technology comes into power or into practice.
Yeah, I think I have something to add on, Jay. I think ethics and our ethical is important because I think this is our daily practice in our job scope because we have to do this to avoid the medical legals, right?
Yeah.
For example, like consent and everything. Yeah. Basically, by implement these ethical considerations is good things for us to avoid any harmful in patients.
Yeah, talking about medical legals, yeah, we're actually quite vulnerable as healthcare personnel. We are exposed to all these known medical legal charges and everything. So I think it will be very important to study more about these ethical issues. And with proper documentation, we might escape from further consequences. I think that then also another ethical aspect is that we have to stay educated because we have to stay on a level where we can provide best healthcare or like the best medical treatments for our patients, and as well like move with our like with the other team members in the same speed and in the same direction for treatments. And that's where what I'm thinking about is that physician assistants are one of the opportunities to solve an ethical problem, and it's like healthcare for like everyone, like yeah, close to everyone, and provide like a good quality of healthcare for everyone.
Right, thanks. I think with that, actually, a lot of explanation and ethical way we need to do, and we might need to deal more. And even though for previous question, there's a question about AI, and I believe if AI will come in and more ethical things come in, there will be more ethical issues that we need to tackle about that as well. Okay, so yeah, let's proceed. And any questions from the floor that you wish to engage by holding the mic, asking questions?
To qualify as physician assistant globally or something like this, it's a good way to ensure like a globally qualifications for physician assistants, and as well for like physician assistants to practice in other countries or to get accepted in other countries, and then like do acceptance tests. But you can like have a job scope worldwide. So that's, I think, the main point in harmonizing physician assistants or like MMOs MOs of a physician associated, like in Switzerland. Yeah, I think by harmonizing our profession from all over the world, it would benefit a lot to us. I mean, for that we have to work in parallel ways, not only on education, but on our job scope, on our title, by the name itself, and so that we can be stronger. If we look at other professions, they are known as one name all over the world. So I think we should establish that first. We should start off with the name. Maybe in future, I mean not in future, we should do it as soon as possible. Yeah, we should establish a standard curriculum of study and options at different levels. And another thing is we have to have more conferences like this, and where we get to meet people from other countries, so that we can be closer, and also to
Generally, name our staff is assistant medical officer. So we can give kind of name our the seniority of your scope. But then that is how we introduce it. And I can see that with Gakopa, we are actually moving towards that direction. And recently there's also a survey that come out. I wonder how many of this already. There's a survey that come out of Asia, considered by and if I recall correctly, there's one name that is a paramedical practitioner. That's one of the names that inside, and there's a few more names. I think that is not only done in Malaysia, right? Not only done in Malaysia. Yeah, it's throughout the world. Yeah, I think that's the way it's done in a lot of countries around the world. Yet, I believe if you don't believe, you can ask your respective countries, professions head, or even can ask your educator whether how can get the link and go inside and work for it, your preference name. Okay, so that you can be one of the contributors to work for the name extra. Okay, so I think we are moving in that direction. And yeah, that is what we want to centralize and how we want to harmonize it with the one. Okay, so yeah, if there is no any questions from the floor, okay, then we are going to end our forum. Okay. I can see a lot of faces are here. It's okay. So, any final word or final floor of our stays happening in the live now? Okay.
So what my statement is like that we have to ensure better networking between the nations and like the different organizations. I think GACOPA is a really good opportunity to do that, and it's important for us or for every one of us to provide the courage that we have to network and we have to get closer to each other, to have like a globally stand and talk more with other health professionals globally on a globally stage, to get more supported from other organizations like the WHO or even companies that they start building up educational systems for physician assistants or MMOs and MAs. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for listening to us, to our point of view, and I wish a great success for the organizing committee for these 4 days of forum. And all I want is AMOs in Malaysia to excel as one, to make sure no one is left behind. So for that, we have to come forward to upgrade ourselves. I want to see more MAs to more AMOs to take these degree programs. Currently, we have 2, as I mentioned earlier, and so get this degree, upgrade yourself, and hopefully we'll meet very soon in another conference. And that's all from me. Thank you.
I would like to thank you, everyone, for this opportunity being here. So, as a whole, in Malaysia, actually, assistant medical officers started as an alternative options for doctors who can both do nursing and management in places where doctors are not available. But what are we doing in many facilities do not bring out our 100% of job scope that we are meant to be or meant to do. So my intention here is that our job scope is acknowledged and implemented at its full capabilities, so that we are more recognized worldwide. And we need more young people to bring and carry forward this identity and recognitions. Remember, the more we inspire people, the more people will inspire in you. Okay, thank you.
Right. I want to say thank you as well. I'm really grateful to be here as a foreign student and colleague. I'm really thankful to the organization. I'm really thankful for you guys that you guys invited me, and as well for the GACOPA that it's possible to for me to stay here in Malaysia and to proceed with the conference and to part on it. And I'm really thankful as well that we as German society or association for physician assistants can take part on this conference and have a new or get new knowledge. Really thank you.
Okay, so just a sum up of our forum tonight, okay, since it's another education forum. So I believe all of us here to attend tonight, we will listen to a few questions, and especially when you are thinking about expectation of moral generations. Everyone that's sitting as the movies over here are the younger generations, and I believe there's more younger generations sitting out there. Okay, so our sound is actually being heard. I just want to assure you our sound is actually being heard, because I can see that there's a lot of effort that is put into our professions, but especially in our Malaysia here, I can see that our Malaysia Medical Assistant Associations, they are actually moving a lot recently. They are actually done a lot of things, just the things that behind we can't see, that the effort that they put in actually. So I just want to assure us in one way because they are actually doing very well, and we were thinking of harmonizing clinical officers and physician associates towards attending universal health coverage. I believe with GACOPA conference happening, and this is only the conference, I believe there will be more and more coming up in the coming years. There will be 4, there will be 5, and even 6 that will be coming out. And I don't know where that will be. Might not be Malaysia, might be other country, might be Germany as well. Okay, hopefully. Like in Germany as well. So I think with that more and more conference coming up, I think we have more collaborations that we can work together as well. And even with iPads as a student. So most of you, if you are students,
whether they are in the diploma level or whether they are in the undergraduate bachelor degree programs. I really want to encourage you to join in the FS as well, to contribute your ideas, to contribute your expectations as the younger generations. See how can we work together and we know how to transit these professions together worldwide, internationally. Okay, so and not important like what Amanda mentioned to us. I do hope all of us here will keep to our teaching place, be humble and be teachable. Since that will be the most crucial part for us to move to international. The more we move, the more advanced in France, that the more we need to stay humble ourselves and be teachable to learn a lot of new things. So that we can move. Once the opportunity comes, we are there already. Once the opportunity comes, we are ready. Okay, so I think with that we are coming to the end of our education level. So I want to take this chance to invite our advisor of our Malaysian Leader Assistant Association, Dr. Ismail bin Sabri, to come on stage to give the certificate to our panelists. So first we would like to invite Mr. Jamal.
Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you. Well done. Thank you, Rob. Okay, well, thank you. Seeing you so long.
So we would like to invite Mr. Jamal.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ken.
I think I was on flight to come over to Malaysia. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, I'm announcing that's the end of our education program, and I'm switching back to our NC flag. Really appreciate your participation and your view. For the fruitful session, definitely we open up the mind of the next generation.
Yeah.
So we have one announcement. So now we have the Gakopa International Executive Committee meeting at the level and drama 5.
Yes.